What would you do if a 10-year-old kid in duct-taped boots claimed he could heal your child? And he was right. It was cold that winter morning in Richmond, Virginia. Not cold enough to snow, but the kind that made your breath show and your fingertips sting. People rushed in and out of the Children's Hospital on Broad Street, bundled in scarves, clutching coffee cups, moving fast like they could outrun whatever brought them there. But one person wasn't moving. He sat on a flattened cardboard box near the revolving doors, drawing quietly in a weather-beaten notebook. His name was Josiah Joey Bennett, just 10 years old. His coat was a size too big, sleeves rolled up, and one of his boots had duct tape across the toe. A red knit beanie rested low on his forehead, barely covering his ears. He didn't beg, didn't ask for help, just sat there watching people come and go. His quiet presence was a stark contrast to the frantic energy around him, a silent challenge to their indifference. He was there most Fridays. Some hospital staff had tried to shoo him off when he first started showing up, but after a while they gave up. Joey didn't cause trouble. He smiled when spoken to, and when he wasn't sketching in his notebook, he was watching. Always watching. His gaze was piercing, as if he could see through the pain and pretense of those passing by. Most folks figured he had a parent inside. Maybe a sick sibling. Maybe he was just waiting for a ride. Nobody asked too many questions. Not in a place like that. Across the street, parked by a fire hydrant, a dark silver Lexus idled. The engine stayed on, but the driver didn't move. Inside sat Michael Harper, a lawyer in his late 50s with a sharp jawline and graying temples. His tie was loose, his collar wrinkled. He had money. You could see it in the way his car gleamed, even under the hospital's fluorescent lights. But he looked like a man running out of gas. In the back seat, a booster chair held his daughter Lily, 8 years old, brown curls tucked behind one ear, legs tucked under a pink blanket. Her eyes were wide open, but she didn't say a word. The accident had changed everything. One minute she was climbing trees and racing her cousins in the backyard. The next, she was paralyzed from the waist down, sitting in silence. The weight of her condition was a constant ache in Michael's chest, a reminder of his helplessness. Michael opened the back door, scooped her up carefully, and carried her toward the entrance. He didn't notice Joey at first. Most people didn't. But Joey noticed him. He saw the way Michael held her like she might fall apart, the way her eyes stayed fixed on the sky, avoiding the building. Joey stared longer than usual. Then, just before they passed, he stood up and called out, "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again." Michael stopped mid-step, not because he was offended or confused, but because of how the words were said. Not like a sales pitch, not like a joke, just soft, clear, and serious. Like Joey believed it completely. The boy's conviction was a jolt, a daring spark that pierced Michael's despair. Michael turned, eyes narrowed. "What did you just say?" Joey didn't flinch. He stepped forward, tucking his notebook under his arm. "I said I can help her walk again." Michael stared at him, his arms tightened around Lily. "That's not funny, kid." "I wasn't joking." Joey's voice didn't shake. There was no smile, just that same quiet tone. A grown-up kind of stillness in a kid's body. His unwavering certainty was unnerving, a challenge to Michael's hardened skepticism. Michael looked down at Joey's clothes, his taped-up boot, the cracked lenses of the glasses hanging from the boy's shirt collar. This had to be some weird coincidence, maybe even a scam. He turned and walked inside without another word. But inside he couldn't stop thinking about it, the way the kid said it, not with hope, not with doubt, but like it was a fact. That voice haunted him, a persistent whisper that refused to be drowned out by the hospital's sterile routine. But something about that voice stayed stuck in Michael's head, and it was going to keep pulling at him until he came back. Michael tried to forget about the kid. For the next few hours, he sat through Lily's appointments, nodding through updates from therapists, neurologists, and specialists, all of them using the same phrases they always did. Managing expectations, long road ahead, miracles take time. He'd heard it all, but Joey's words kept repeating in his mind like a stubborn itch. "I can make your daughter walk again." The promise was a dangerous lure, tempting him to believe in the impossible despite years of crushing disappointment. By early evening, Michael and Lily stepped out of the building. The sun had broken through the clouds, but the cold was still sharp. He walked toward the car, cradling Lily as usual, when he noticed Joey again, still there. Same box, same notebook, except this time, he was looking right at Michael like he knew he'd come back. Michael hesitated. He glanced at Lily. Her head rested on his shoulder, eyes closed. Her body was light, too light for a kid her age. He turned. "You again?" he muttered, walking over. "Why would you say something like that? You think this is funny?" Joey shook his head slowly. "No, sir. You don't even know her," Michael snapped, lowering Lily gently into the back seat. "You don't know what she's been through." "You don't know what we've been through." Joey didn't back down. "I don't have to know her to help." His defiance was a quiet rebellion, refusing to be dismissed by Michael's anger. Michael straightened up. "You're what, 10? "Almost 11, exactly. You're a little boy sitting outside a hospital with duct tape on your shoes. What could you possibly know about helping someone like my daughter?" Joey looked down, his fingers tracing the edge of his notebook. "My mama used to help people walk again," he said quietly. "She was a nurse. She taught me stuff. She said the body remembers things, even when it forgets for a while." Michael stared at him, the skepticism hardening in his chest. "So, what? You watched her do some stretches and now you think you're a doctor?" "I watched her help a man walk after being in a chair for 4 years," Joey said, eyes lifting. "She didn't have machines or nurses, just her hands, her patience, and faith." The story was a spark, igniting a flicker of doubt in Michael's resolve to dismiss the boy. Michael opened his mouth to speak, then stopped. He glanced around. A nurse passed by, giving Joey a small wave. A janitor from the hospital nodded in the boy's direction. They all seemed to know him. "I'm not giving you money," Michael said. "I didn't ask for money." "Then what do you want?" Joey took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Just 90 minutes. Let me show you." Michelello looked back at Lily, who had now opened her eyes and was watching both of them quietly. He sighed, rubbing the bridge of his nose. "I should walk away right now." Joey didn't move. "I should call security," Michael added. Still, the boy stayed silent. Michael finally huffed. "Fine. You want to waste your time, kid? Meet us at Monument Park tomorrow, 1:00 p.m. Don't be late." Joey nodded once. "I'll be there." Michael climbed into the Lexus, started the engine, and pulled off without looking back. But in the rearview mirror, Joey was still standing there, hands at his sides, face unreadable. The boy's persistence was a quiet challenge, daring Michael to confront his own despair. Back at home after dinner, Michael sat in his study. Papers were spread across his desk. None of them made sense. He kept thinking about the way Joey stood there like he knew something. Lily poked her head into the room. "Daddy?" she asked. He turned. "Yeah, baby." "Who was that boy?" Michael paused. "Just somebody we met outside the hospital." "He looked like he believed it," she said. "Believed what?" "That I could walk." He stared at her, lips parting slightly. She smiled, just barely, and walked her fingers across the armrest of her wheelchair like they were legs. Her words were a jolt, stirring a dangerous hope that Michael had long buried. But Michael wasn't smiling because for the first time in a long time, something inside him didn't feel numb. It felt dangerous, like hope. Monument Park was the kind of place most people passed by without a second glance. A cracked basketball court, a few swings with chains that squeaked, and a patch of grass that tried to be a soccer field. On Saturdays it was usually empty, especially around 1:00 p.m. But that day Joey was already there, sitting on the bench closest to the big oak tree. He wore the same oversized jacket, but his notebook was tucked away. Instead, he had a small gym bag at his feet and a folded towel on the bench beside him. At 1:07, Michael's Lexus pulled up. He didn't say anything at first, just got Lily out, set her gently in her wheelchair, and wheeled her over to where Joey sat. He didn't make eye contact. His arms were crossed tight like he was already regretting. Joey stood up when they arrived. "Hi again," he said politely. Michael gave a stiff nod. Lily waved shyly. Joey smiled at her. "Hi, Lily." Her eyes lit up a little. "Hi." Michael raised an eyebrow. "How do you know her name?" "You said it yesterday," Joey replied. I remember stuff. Michael didn't respond, he just gestured at the towel. So, what now, magic carpet ride? Joey ignored the jab. No, sir. Just the basics. He opened his bag and pulled out a pair of socks, a tennis ball, a small jar of cocoa butter, and a plastic container filled with what looked like warm rice wrapped in cloth. Michael squinted. What is all that stuff my mom used? Joey answered. The rice is for heat, helps loosen tight muscles. The ball is for pressure points. Michael folded his arms again. Joey turned to Lily. If it's okay, can I work with your legs for a little while? Nothing hurts, I promise. And if anything feels weird, just say stop. Okay. Lily looked up at her dad. He sighed. You can try. Just be careful. Joey knelt down beside her chair. He gently unwrapped the blanket from her legs and placed the warm cloth rice pack over her thighs. Lily flinched slightly. Too hot? He asked. She shook her head. It feels good. Joey nodded and waited. After a few minutes he began to gently move her legs, not yanking, not forcing, just small rotations, side to side, up and down. Michael watched closely, ready to jump in if something went wrong, but nothing did. His scrutiny was a shield, guarding against the faint hope Joey's actions stirred. You ever do this before? He asked, suspicious. Joey didn't look up. My mama used to take me to shelters after school. She helped veterans, folks who couldn't afford therapy, said, everyone deserves to feel human again. I used to carry her bag. Michael raised an eyebrow. And she taught you this stuff? Yeah. She said the body don't always need fancy, just attention. He tapped lightly on Lily's knee with his knuckle. You feel that? No, she whispered. Joey nodded again, unfazed. That's okay. His calm was a quiet defiance, a refusal to let doubt derail his mission. He kept talking to her while working, asking about her favorite colors, her favorite food, what shows she liked to watch. At first, her answers were short, but then she started asking him about his favorite shows too. Her curiosity was a spark, a sign that Joey's warmth was breaking through her guarded silence. Do you live around here? Kind of. You go to school? I used to. Why not anymore? Joey hesitated. My mom sighed. Then she passed. Been trying to figure things out since. Lily looked down. I'm sorry. Joey gave her a small smile. Thanks. Michael's posture softened slightly, but he didn't speak. After about 45 minutes, Joey gently tapped her ankle again. You feel that? Lily blinked. A little like pressure. Joey looked up at Michael. That's good. Michael squinted. She sometimes says that during her regular sessions. Yeah, Joey replied, but those sessions are inside a room full of machines. Sometimes kids get scared of machines. They tighten up. But here, he gestured to the open park. There's air, trees. Feels different. Michael didn't say anything, but he was definitely listening now. Joey helped Lily stretch both legs, then gave her some simple movements to try with her toe. All away, just wiggling. She tried. Nothing obvious happened. But she didn't look discouraged. Her effort was a quiet victory, a testament to the trust Joey was building. I'll show you again next week, Joey said, standing up. It takes time, but your muscles, he pointed to her thighs. They still remember how to be used. Lily smiled bigger this time. Okay. Michael cleared his throat. We're not promising anything, he said quickly. Joey nodded. I'm not either. I'm just trying. Michael stared at him for a long second. Then, without warning, he reached into his coat pocket, pulled out a folded bill, and held it out. Joey stepped back. No, sir. I don't want your money. Michael looked surprised. Then why are you doing this? Joey shrugged. Because your daughter smiled. His words were a revelation, a selfless act that pierced Michael's cynical armor. Michael looked down at Lily. She was still smiling, but he didn't understand how a boy who had lost everything could give so much to a girl he barely knew. The following Saturday was warmer, but Joey still wore his jacket. Not because he needed it, but because it made him feel like his mom was close. She used to call it his helper's coat. Ultimately said every good healer needed something that reminded them why they care. He was already at Monument Park again by 12:45, towel laid out, supplies lined up, and a bottle of water sitting beside him. A few kids played basketball on the court nearby, and someone's dog barked in the distance. At exactly 1:00 p.m., Michael's Lexus rolled up. Lily was grinning before the car even stopped. Joey waved at her. "Hi, Lily." "Hi," she chirped, her curls bouncing as Michael helped her into the wheelchair. Michael looked tired again, but different this time, less weighed down. He gave Joey a small nod, no words, but it was more than last week. Joey got to work. Same setup, same warm cloth pack, but this time something had shifted. Lily was trying now. "Can you press your heel into the ground?" Joey asked gently. She closed her eyes, concentrating. "Nothing happened. It's okay," he said. "Sometimes it takes your brain a while to find the right path. It's like trying to walk through a crowd. You just got to push through." Michael stood behind them, arms crossed again, but this time more to keep warm than to wall himself off. "Why do you do all this?" he asked suddenly. Joey glanced up. "Because I remember what it felt like when my mom used to help people. She made them feel like they mattered. I want to do that too." His purpose was a quiet fire burning through Michael's doubts with unwavering conviction. Michael nodded slowly. "You ever think about doing something else?" "Sometimes," Joey said, "but this feels right." Michael looked at Lily. She was tapping her toes, barely, but they moved. For the first time, he didn't speak. He just watched. The next few weeks, they kept coming. Same time, same place. Joey taught Lily how to use rubber bands to strengthen her ankles. He rolled tennis balls under her feet to help her brain remember where they were. He showed Michael how to massage pressure points behind her knees and explained how each nerve had a job to do, even when it went quiet. His expertise was a marvel, a child's wisdom that challenged Michael's preconceptions. And then came the bad day. It was the 5th Saturday. Joey showed up like always. But when the Lexus pulled up, Lily wasn't smiling. Her eyes were red. Michael looked angry. "She doesn't want to do it today," he said sharply as he lifted her into the chair. Lily refused to look at either of them. Joey approached slowly. "What happened?" Lily crossed her arms. "I tried to move my legs this morning and nothing happened. Nothing. I'm tired of trying. It's pointless." Michael looked away, jaw tight. "She's been frustrated all week." Joey nodded. He knelt beside her again. "You think I never get tired?" She didn't answer. "You think I didn't sit in a shelter and cry when my mom couldn't afford medicine and I had to just sit there and watch?" Her eyes shifted toward him. "You're allowed to be mad. I'm mad sometimes too, but if you stop now, the part of you that wants to walk might stop trying too." His empathy was a bridge, reaching across her despair to rekindle her hope. She stared at the ground. "I don't want you to give up," he said softly. "Because I haven't." Silence. Then Lily whispered, "I'm scared." Michael turned. That was the first time she'd said that out loud. Joey leaned in closer. "I am too, but scared don't mean stop. It just means you're close to something big." Lily wiped her face. "Okay, let's try again." And they did. Joey guided her through the motions gently with less talking this time, just presence, patience. Michael stepped in more too, helping her shift weight, encouraging every small twitch. After 45 minutes, Lily moved her right foot. Not a toe, her whole foot. It slid forward, slow and stiff, but it moved. Michael knelt down beside her, blinking like he wasn't sure he'd seen it right. "Do it again," he said. She did. Joey smiled, but didn't say anything. He just sat back and watched. That evening, Michael stood outside his house on Carey Street, staring at the moon. He'd stopped asking himself who Joey really was. The question didn't matter anymore. Inside, Lily was giggling, retelling the footslide moment to her aunt on speakerphone. For the first time in 8 months, their house didn't feel like a hospital room. It felt like home again. The moment was a miracle, fragile and fleeting, born from a boy's stubborn belief in possibility. But something inside Michael had started to shift. Not just his daughter's legs, but the weight in his own chest. The guilt, the pride. the wall he'd built between himself and the world. It was cracking. Monday evening, Michael sat in his study, staring at an untouched contract. His phone buzzed every few minutes. Emails, calls, client updates, but none of it felt urgent anymore. What kept looping in his mind was that moment in the park, Lily's foot sliding forward like it belonged to her again. He'd seen it with his own eyes. And the person who made it happen was a 10-year-old with taped-up boots and no last name he'd ever heard before. He opened a new browser tab and typed Josiah Bennett Richmond. Nothing came up except a few scattered results. He clicked through old local newsletters and school databases, a few mentions of a Josiah and his mother Monique Bennett at a community clinic. No address, no recent info. He shut the laptop and leaned back. This kid was a ghost. Except he wasn't. The mystery of Joey's past only deepened Michael's awe, a puzzle that made his actions even more profound. By Friday they were back at Monument Park, but things felt different now. Michael brought an extra mat and a fold-out chair. He handed Joey a sandwich when they arrived. Didn't say anything about it, just placed it beside his gym bag. Joey gave a small thanks and tucked it away for later. "Ready, Lily?" he asked. She gave a big thumbs up. "Let's do it." They got into the routine. Heat packs, stretches, toe flexes. Today, Michael joined in fully. He sat cross-legged on the grass, doing each motion Joey explained. "Even messed it up once. You're bending the wrong way," Joey said with a grin. Michael gave him a side eye. "I haven't stretched since grad school." They laughed, even Lily. About 30 minutes in, Joey leaned forward. "All right, Lily, let's try something different." He unfolded a belt from his bag and placed it under her knees, showing Michael how to hold each end. "She's going to try to lift both knees now, just a little. We help balance her. She controls the movement." Michael blinked. "You sure?" Joey nodded. "She's ready." They gave her a few seconds. Her brow tightened, eyes narrowed. She grunted softly, and then her knees lifted slightly, barely an inch, but they lifted. Michael looked at her, stunned. "You did that?" She smiled. "I did it." He swallowed hard. "You really did it?" Joey nodded slowly, eyes on the belt. "See, the body remembers. You just have to be patient enough to let it talk." Michael looked at him. "You're something else, kid." Joey didn't respond, just started gently guiding Lily through the next stretch. The breakthrough was a beacon, a moment of hope that pierced the fog of their shared despair. After the session, as they packed up, Michael crouched beside Joey. "Where do you go after this?" Joey shrugged. "Around." Michael lowered his voice. "You got a place to sleep?" Joey hesitated, then said, "Sometimes." Michael exhaled slowly, rubbing the back of his neck. "You ever think about coming to stay with us for a while?" Joey's eyes widened. "You serious? I got a guest room. You wouldn't be in the way." Joey looked down at his hands. "You sure your neighbors wouldn't mind a kid like me?" Michael gave a short laugh. "Man, after what you've done for my daughter, they'd better not say a word." Joey didn't answer right away, but Michael could see the wheels turning. The offer was a lifeline, a chance for Joey to find stability, yet it carried the weight of his uncertain future. The next day, Joey stood outside Michael's home, backpack slung over one shoulder, a rolled-up blanket tucked under his arm. Michael opened the door, in sweatpants and a coffee mug in hand. "Right on time," he said. Lily ran to the front hallway. "Joey," he smiled. "Hey, superstar." Michael stepped aside. Welcome home. The days that followed were quiet but meaningful. Joey got his own room, a soft bed, clean sheets, and a small desk. He didn't say much, but he never missed a morning stretch with Lily. She was moving both feet now, not walking yet, but the wheels were turning. Her brain was reaching out to her legs like it remembered the connection. One evening, as Michael cleaned dishes, he paused and leaned on the counter. "Joey?" he said over his shoulder. "You ever think about going back to school?" Joey, who was sketching at the kitchen table, glanced up sometimes. Michael nodded. "You're smart. You could go far." Joey tilted his head. I want to help people walk again, like my mama did. Michael turned to face him. Then let's figure out how to get you there. Joey gave a small smile. Okay. They didn't say much more that night. They didn't need to, but for the first time in years, the Harper household wasn't full of silence. It was full of small noises that meant life. Footsteps, laughter, scribbles, and healing. The shift was a quiet revolution, a new beginning born from Joey's selfless dedication. It started with a nurse from the Children's Hospital. She was walking her dog through Monument Park one Friday morning and spotted a familiar face. Lily. She hadn't seen her outside her wheelchair in months, let alone smiling, lifting her knees, moving her toes. And standing beside her was the same quiet kid who used to sit by the hospital doors every week. She didn't interrupt, just watched from a distance for a while. Then she went home and told her sister, who happened to work in patient advocacy. A few days later, a rehabilitation specialist at the hospital mentioned to Michael, "Hey, someone told me Lily's improving." "That true?" Michael nodded. "Yeah. Thanks to someone we weren't expecting. Word spread fast. The next time they showed up to Monument Park, 2 other families were waiting at the bench near the big oak tree. One had a boy who used a walker, the other a girl recovering from a stroke. Both parents had heard about the kid who helped the Harper girl move her legs again. Joey looked at Michael. Michael looked right back at him. "You don't have to," he said quietly. Joey adjusted the strap on his bag. "I want to." He gave up his usual time with Lily that day to work with the 2 new kids. He showed their parents how to use the same towel stretches, how to warm the rice packs just right, how to encourage without pushing too hard. And he talked to the kids, not at them. "You're not broken," he told one of them. "You're just learning a different way to be strong." His words were a gift, empowering others with the same hope he'd given Lily. Lily watched everything from her wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. She didn't complain once. Later that afternoon, on the drive home, she said, "I like watching him help people." Michael glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm part of something good." He smiled. By the next week, 5 families showed up. The week after that, it was 12. A local pastor brought folding chairs. A nearby diner started dropping off bagels and coffee. Somebody printed flyers that read, "Free movement classes, Fridays at 1:00 p.m., Monument Park." They didn't mention Joey's name, but everyone knew who it was. A local reporter showed up with a camera and a notepad. Michael pulled Joey aside. "You okay with this?" Joey looked around at the families, at the kids moving their limbs, at Lily laughing with a girl on a walker. He nodded. "As long as it's not about me, it's about them." His humility was a beacon, shining light on others while he remained in the shadows. The reporter wrote her piece. It ran on the second page of the Richmond Times under the headline, "10-year-old with a gift helps dozens heal in a city park." They didn't share his full name. Joey asked them not to, but people found out anyway. A local doctor offered to mentor him. A non-profit asked if they could fund some equipment. Someone else offered free tutoring. For the first time since his mother passed, people didn't just look at Joey, they saw him. His impact was a quiet earthquake, reshaping lives with every small act of kindness. But Joey never bragged. He still laid out the towel the same way every Friday. Still used the same duct-taped boots. Still checked in with Lily first before helping anyone else. But now the park that once echoed with silence and sore bodies had become a place filled with movement, and a boy who had no home had become the heart of something bigger than himself. It had been 8 Fridays. 8 Fridays of towels laid on grass, of Lily's knees lifting higher, of small victories shared with strangers who'd become something closer to family. But this Friday was different. Joey could feel it before they even pulled up to the park. The air was warmer. The trees swayed a little slower. Even Lily was quieter in the back seat, focused, almost like she was preparing for something big. When they arrived, a small crowd had already formed. Nothing loud or flashy, just families setting up folding chairs, therapists kneeling in front of kids, parents with hopeful eyes, and right in the middle of it all was that same worn-out bench under the oak tree. Joey didn't say anything at first, just unpacked his bag, rolled out the towel, and gave Lily a look. "You ready?" She nodded. No smile. Just that look again. Serious. Determined. Michael wheeled her to the center of the mat. Joey knelt in front of her. "Same as before," he said softly. "We help you stand, you do the rest." Michael moved behind her and placed his hands under Father's arms. He caught her laughing, crying, his hands trembling as he held her. "You did it," he whispered. "You really did it." Lily turned to Joey. "You said I would." He gave her a small grin. "I said we'd try." That afternoon, nobody left the park in a hurry. People stayed, talked, hugged, some prayed. Joey sat back on the bench and watched it all. He didn't say much. He never did. That night, Michael stood in the kitchen while Joey poured cereal in a bowl. "You know, you changed everything," he said. Joey didn't look up. "I did." Michael walked over and placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "My daughter walked today, and not because of a hospital or a doctor or a miracle drug. She walked because a kid with nothing decided to show up again and again, even when nobody asked him to." Joey nodded. "That's what my mom would have done." Michael's throat tightened. "I wish she could have seen this." "She did," Joey said softly. "I think she sees everything." His quiet faith was a final gift, a reminder that love endures beyond loss. Michael wiped his eyes. "Joey," he said quietly, "you're going to change a lot of lives." Joey looked up at him. "I already am. There are people in this world who might not have fancy degrees, shiny resumes, or a perfect past, but they carry something far more valuable. Heart, grit, and a reason to keep showing up. Sometimes the most broken people are the ones holding the tools to help others heal. If this story moved you, don't just keep it to yourself, share it. And if you know a kid like Joey or a girl like Lily, tell them this. You matter. You're needed." Her arms. Joey took her legs, guiding them gently into place. "Okay," Joey whispered. On 3, she closed her eyes. 1, 2, 3, Michael lifted. Joey steadied her knees, and then she stood. Her legs trembled, her arms shook, but she was up on her own 2 feet. The crowd fell silent. Some kids gasped. One mother clapped a hand over her mouth. Lily opened her eyes slowly and smiled. "I'm standing." Joey blinked back something in his eyes. "Yeah, you are." Michael froze for a second like he couldn't breathe. Then he let go. She stayed up. He stepped back, shaking. She's doing it." Joey stepped back too, just a little. "She's been doing it." Lily took one shaky step, then another, and then because she was 8 and brave and didn't know how to be afraid, she took a 3rd step, all on her own before falling into her